was the eastern end of the toll road, the plank toll road that come from Saginaw to St. Louis. And on the corner, the southeast corner of that house, once he bought it, they started remodeling because there was no basement, no toilets, no nothing in it. So it was probably at that time, probably built in the 1860s. So it was 70, 80, 90 year old at the time. So they did a lot of work. They're talking about the toll house. At this time, we have that at the Historical Society. And I don't know how it happened, but Helen and Dick Hall ended up getting it somehow from Ivan. And it sat in their backyard for at least 25 years and was used by the neighbor kids as a playhouse. And when she had an auction sale several years ago, she donated it to the Historical Society. So, but that came from Ivan and Smiley's house that they remodeled on from the old toll house road from on the east side of town. Kind of interesting at the cost or the toll house. It was called the Glaspie Plank Road. It was come into St. Louis in 1869. The toll booth, as I said, again was attached to the house, and the fees was 2 cents a mile for a team-drawn vehicle. It was 1 cent a mile for a one-horse vehicle or a horseback rider. 1/2 cent a mile for 20 sheep or swine. 2 cents per mile for 20 cattle. Failure to pay was $25 fine. So it was quite expensive at that time. Memories of the Conery. I talked to several people that were familiar with the Conery. Some of the things that they remembered were the sodas. One man remembered the French fries, and he said they were really good, and he had an awful time begging Smiley for an extra portion of ketchup because you only get one per customer. So, but he would con her into giving him 2. Again, the dancing. I think we're getting down where I would like to have people that in the audience, if there's anyone here would have something that sticks out in their mind that they can remember. I know this is short notice, but I think it would be neat for people, if there's someone in here can remember something that I didn't talk about, that they remember. If we take just a few minutes. Nancy, you have anything?
More than 2 minutes.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
Well, go ahead.
And so I don't have notes and I can't talk out of the top of my head anymore.
Well, I'll help. Stand up.
Okay.
At least
And I found out one thing in here I remembered a little wrong when I saw the scrapbook. Okay, the Smiths. We call them Ivan and Smiley, but whenever I greeted them, I called him Ive, and he called me Rhodesy. That was my maiden name when I went to school here, Rhodes. He always called me Rhodesy. In the early 50s, I graduated in 1952. We won the state championship in basketball. Yay! But I got 25 cents an hour babysitting, no allowance from mom and dad. But it was 25 cents to go out to Roll Arena and skate on Tuesday night was ladies' night. So I didn't have much money. So I never ate the French fries or the soda. So I only had a dime to spend at the Conery. But I went in there after school or some evenings. And I always had a nickel Coke and a nickel bag of potato chips. I sure would have liked to have ice cream and a sundae or a malt or a banana split. A few years ago, I don't know how many now, but I saw Ivan at a class reunion. I said, "Hi, Ive," and I hadn't seen him for just years. I said, "Hi, Ive, bet you don't remember me." And he said, "I sure do, Rhodesy." I then said, "I remember that I only had a dime to spend, so I had a nickel Coke and a nickel bag of chili chips." He replied quickly, we never had nickel bags of potatoes. And then he thought, and he said, oh yes, we did too. Oh yes, I forgot, in nice weather, I loved the fudgesicle. I would buy a fudgesicle instead of a Coke then. And they were real yummy. I remember I never had a fudgesicle like they had then. I didn't realize it until I said to him, I said to me once when I went in the Conery ranch, Rosie, why do you always squint when you come in here? I said, well, I think the lights hurt my eyes, I guess. And it was true, I didn't realize it then, how light would bother my eyes. I remember Ivan in a short sleeve shirt, which I found out tonight, he had them rolled up. When I looked at the scrapbook, I said, that's why I remember him having a short sleeve shirt. And the other things I remember, the booths, the wooden booths, with many, many wads of gum, because every one of the 50s chewed gum, and I don't know if we didn't have napkins or what, but I don't know, I did, probably did, gum under that and the counter. Everybody stuck gum underneath. Other things, let's see, where am I? Okay, and I have memories of being in the room at the back and seeing the jukebox on the wall. It seems to me like it was on the right hand side. We went into it seemed to me like the door on the side. But I couldn't play, or we couldn't play or dance because I didn't have the license, but we never danced. I remember it being very dark, and homecoming time we had a snake dance, and started out at the high school. We all joined hands, and we had the longest snake. Sometimes it was like a crack of a whip. The first place we hit was the Conery. Let's see, where am I, Nancy? Stick together. There used to be 2 doors on each side where you could enter or leave. And so we would go in one door with a snake and out the other. And we never got yelled at or anything. And then we'd go downtown. And I remember even in the stores or something, we'd go in the friendly tavern. It was still friendly back in the 52 and that. We'd go in there and around the tables and everything. But at that time, no one said anything. They all liked all of us kids, and I think enjoyed us kids. That's supposed to be an innocent age, you know. And I remember Smiley too. I never heard her first name. I never knew it till I came past the week. And we always called her Smiley. She had nice dark hair, and she smiled. She showed her teeth, not just a grin. It was a smile. And I asked Eileen tonight, didn't she have a space between her teeth? And said, yes, she did. And also she was trim, and so was he. And she didn't want us cutting up too much, or no smile from Smiley. Those were the days, but in my mind, I still remember our hangout with the warm and happy feelings, Smiley Ivan, Cokes, friends, and the carefree, happy days Conery. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. 1971, closing it after 37 years. One little thing I forgot to mention, we have a person that's in here that also had a business at the same time. In the early middle 50s, Lucille Beeler had a little photo studio in the front east corner of the Conery, and it was the office that was used by Ivan's father, Jay, when he was at his Justice Peace office. And she used that little room for her studio for about 5 years, she told me. So, another little business. And I think probably Lucille told me that some of these pictures that we have, the Historical Society, are some that she was able to preserve or take from the first and second generation of the Smith family on that corner. So it's kind of interesting that for nearly 100 years, the same corner being occupied by the same family, and I think probably 5 different generations. Doreen and Eileen's older children, when they were small, on weekends and stuff, when they were visiting Grandpa and Grandma, helped out in the store. So there was 5 generations of Smiths that worked in that corner. Is there anyone else that has any?
And one of my favorite things that I remember was the Cokes, and you could have lemon and cherry and chocolate, and I don't know, there were several flavors of cult and they would